Hello and welcome back to the channel. We have, I'm going to carry out my first sort of experiment, if you like. I've never done an experiment before, not on this sort of level, so I'm going to give it a go. And I'm experimenting with these two products, Maskol and Mr. Masking Neo. Why am I experimenting? Well, the other day I put some of this on something I was building, and I noticed when I took it off, it took some of the it didn't take the paint away, but it left a definite tonal change in the paint where it had been. So I wanted to test that first of all against this one to see whether this does the same, and whether this one does in fact still make that tonal change. Then I decided I was going to put a couple of different masking tapes on here as well to see how they cope, to see whether they bleed through at the edges. And basically I'm going to flip down to the bench now so that we can see what I'm talking about. Let's get some light on this. Let's fire up the other one. So as you can see, I've got the Mr. Hobby Mr. Masking solution is the green one there, and we've got Humbrol Maskol there and there. We also have some plain blue tape on here. Well, this is not plain blue, it's masking tape. This is Stanley masking tape, and it said that it was you know, bleed proof or whatever, low tack, and so we're giving that a go. I can confirm the low tack. It's dreadful when it comes to, as soon as it's been on anything, it loses all its tack and even sometimes starts to lift off. So I don't think it's going to be very good when it comes to painting along the sides. I think that it'll bleed underneath. This is tape I got from somebody that sent me some. I don't know what make this is. There's nothing inside to indicate, but there's that one, and it comes in a couple of other different colours. This is by far a comprehensive test. What I should have done really in hindsight is put all the tapes down, taped off a different area and done it that way to see how each one performs. And I'll probably do that another time. I'm not going to stop now and do it because I've already masked it off, and I'm eager to get it sprayed, the camo pattern down on it. So we'll stick with just testing these two solutions and these couple of tapes for now, and we'll improve on the test another time when I've got more time for that. And and the other thing is to see how well these act as a barrier against paint. I've put them on quite thin, in fact very thin on the Humbrol Maskol there. You can see that there's a very, very thin layer there. I'm just noticing I'm getting some flicker coming through, which shouldn't be happening. So that's the test. I'm now going to go off camera and get it all sprayed up, and then we'll come back, peel everything away and see how it looks. Excellent plan. See you in a bit. So we've finished the spraying of the Messerschmitt, the alternate colour for the camo. I just want to stop there and show you how I go about cleaning my airbrush when I've just used a colour like this. Initially I'll put in a squirt of UMP's airbrush cleaner. I then normally go in with a brush like this and just generally give it a good brush all around the cup. Try and get it up on the sides, because there will be a lot of dried paint up on the sides. I don't worry too much about the outside at the moment. Doesn't have to be spick and span at this stage. A little bit of backflow, just the first one. And we use a little bit of that just on the front there. Nothing too urgent at the moment, just a little bit over there to start loosening it up. And then this first lot I just dump out. Have a wipe round, generally, just to have a look. See, sorry if I moved out of camera. So just get that smudge off of there. I hate a dirty airbrush, I really do. It's one of my pet hates. Second lot going in. Back in with the brush, and this time we want to get the remainder off that we couldn't get with the first lot. There shouldn't be any problems. You may find a stubborn bit, but just keep prodding at it and it will just flake away eventually. The UMP airbrush cleaner is really good, and it really gets rid of the stubborn crap that's in your brush. Give it a bit of a twist down the bottom, let all the brush's bristles get round the needle in that area, let it do its thing. Have a look round, see if you can see any stubborn paint dried on the outside. It normally sort of dries around here, around the base of the cup. And again, some more over the nozzle and needle cap. If you can, get a close look and just gently brush the needle, and you will see the paint fall away from the needle. If it's really dry, like you can be a bit stubborn, but it will go. Another backflow. Then give the needle a wipe. And we dump that lot as well, because we really don't want to be putting dirty use that a clean, and that's come out really quite well. Now, there's a little bit in the neck at the bottom, but for that we take this off, and we'll get that out in a second. It's looking fairly good in there, but I know people can do this with a lot less than what I'm using, but I'm a big believer that, to be honest, unless you really strip it down, there will be some form of paint deposit left behind. Keep that, and then then we go over the needle. There we go, it's all flaked away now. Pull the needle back, retract it all the way, just get a cotton bud in there, give it a twirl. You'll see the paint coming off from the sides where it's built up. And that side, and around the rim. Excellent. Now we're going to do our first little spray through just to see what colour. Got a little bit of grey, and then we've got the clear, the sort of translucent blue of the airbrush cleaner coming through. So it's probably as clean as I can get it at this stage. I mean, that is clean. I've just got that light blue colour, which is excellent. But I can tell you, if I was to strip this down, you would find paint still in there. It's just, there's no way around it really. It just gets everywhere in the needle, in the airbrush, and you know, there'll be, I'm not saying you'll open it and it'll pour out with paint. It'll be tiny little bits of paint left, but them tiny little bits can dry and they can cause problems if they go down into the nozzle. So if you do have any problems while you're airbrushing, the first thing you should always do, in my opinion, is take the airbrush apart and give it a good clean. Give the needle a good clean. Pay particular attention to your nozzle. There'll probably be a build-up of paint that's dried in the nozzle, and you can use a small tool for removing the deposits. Many of you may have seen them. For those new to airbrushing, it's this tool here. It's normally got a spike on the end, so be careful with it. That's for getting into sort of the nozzle and that, and scraping the paint out. Be careful, because if you push too hard on that, you will push it through the end of the nozzle and split the nozzle where the needle sits. So I know this because I've done it. Not very clever, I know, but we learn through our mistakes, and I certainly learnt that one because it was a costly one. There we go. So that's the cleaning of that. So that's ready to go next time. And we had a little bit of dirt in the bottom of this. Where's which will come off instantly with this. No need to use any more airbrush cleaner. Yep, there, it's coming off straight away. Cotton bud does wonders. There we see it. And that's spotless now. Spotless, I think. Where am I looking? There. Anyway. So I'm going to leave this to dry now, and then we'll come back and we'll peel off the various bits and pieces and see how we've done. See how well the various items have done their job, and see how well I've done my job. So, see you in a short while. So we're ready to remove all the excess tape and mask oil and so on. You'll notice I've also managed to get rid of the flicker on the screen. It was basically, I'd got it set for some reason, it had been set to NTSC anti-flicker, which is the American version, and we wanted it on PAL, so it was just a simple switch. I don't know how it had gone like that. So let's get down to it, and let's get some of this removed and see how we're done. So I suppose the easy ones first. I'm not too worried about how it looks so much, because it's going to get a winter coat over the top to make it white, or look white, because this particular plane was on the Russian front. These are yellow in colour, so where it looks as though I haven't really bothered putting masking tape down properly, it's just that it's not really that big an issue there. This will all be blended in round here with different washes and that, so it's not a concern. And along the top, if we have a look at the paint guide, there's a light sort of dusting over the top and along the sides, so I've tried to replicate that as best I can, but yeah, like I say, it's all going to be sort of whitewashed anyway, so this is all going to be hidden. This is just here to bleed through. Now I'm taking off the blue stuff. It's quite sticky, I will say. It's once it's gone on, it loses its tack almost instantly, but it is quite sticky if you get it on firmly to begin with. You need to be careful pulling this off. I don't want to do any damage, so let's get that off. Alright. I'm saying that, and it's stuck well and truly. It's a bit more tackier than I gave it credit for, I think. Let's flip that over. The underside, of course, is going to be painted almost like an eggshell type blue. You've seen that before. Pale blue. Sorry, I wandered off camera a bit there. This is Vallejo Black Primer down here. What we get rid of? I don't really know where this green stuff come from, this green tape, but it's very good, or it appears to be very good. Got nice straight lines on it. There doesn't appear to have been any bleed through at all so far. Excellent. Then we've got this funny cut out on here. Keep wandering off again. Apologies. Let me move that camera a bit further. this way so that when I am picking it up, there we go. Now here's the first lot of Mr. Hobby Neo Salt. Neo, and that sort of comes off a bit like skin when you've been sunburnt, I guess. Here we've got some really thin layer I put on there just to see how it would work, and it has done the job. It has, even though it looks very thin, it did perform a barrier against the paint. Very good. We'll do some chipping on this as well. There we go, it's enough for me to grab hold of. I don't like the blue tape, I will admit. It's very coarse. It's very thick. It's not at all like Tamiya tape. It's not even like regular masking tape. I'm not a fan of it, I must admit. I've got some green frog tape, but it's quite a thick roll like this. I haven't opened it up because it was very expensive, so I'm reluctant to use it. But by all accounts, that's supposed to be the dog's dangly bits for masking. Now then, this is what I want to see, whether it all comes off in one nice swift movement or even a couple, or whether you've got to pick at it, which is unfortunately how this is looking like it's going to go. Can we roll it off if we rub it with our finger? Doesn't appear to be any. There is a little bit of pale in there. I don't know if you can see it. Down here there's a white bit where it's sort of paled, where it's had this on. Yeah, I'm going to need to get in there with some tweezers and really clean that up a bit. Right, so yeah, we've got the really thin stuff here, so it's still very sticky to touch. I think you're better off rolling your thumb over it because it's got an elastic type feel to it. And I think, yeah, if you try and pull it, it just comes away in bits and bobs. You're much better to, oh, it's just the canopy coming off. Roll it with your thumb or forefinger or whatever. And take it off that way. Let me just take this canopy bit off here as well. You don't need that on now. and it has removed paint off the mask there. Fortunately, I don't think it's taken paint off the... No, it hasn't taken any paint off the canopy frame, but it has took it off the mask there. And if it were to take it off the mask, there's also going to be a chance then that it will take it elsewhere as well. So, not great results there for the Mr. Sol. From my point of view anyway. It's a bit messy to put on. Tends to dry around the top of the bottle and on the brush. So this is some more Mr. Mascot, which I tagged this onto the tape so that it had something to pull off on. And yes, it's yeah, the tape's just come away. I think we've got some humbrol coming up now, so tape off there. And again, the Mr. Hobby solution has left white patches here as well. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. It's left white splodges where it's gone on. So I don't know what's happening there. It's worth bearing in mind. Right, now I think this is, yeah, this is Humbrol's Maskol solution. And I have to say, this is coming off more in one go than the Mr. Hobby stuff. So we've still got the main bulk of it. Oh, the strands just broke, but I reckon with a bit more ease that would have, let's see, don't worry about these edges, I'm just going to give them a brief sand down. That's meant to be like that there. If you see it on the paint schedule, you'll see why. And then we've got the back, which I think is just Humbrol. So again, you are better off just peeling it off in one, rolling your thumb around and just rubbing it off. But this does come off a lot easier. Much easier. The only downside with that is it doesn't leave us a straight edge. The straight edge is nowhere near as sharp as if you use tape, which is what I was testing here. Here you can see this edge along here It's nowhere near as sharp as these down here where the tape was used. So that's it really. That's just a small little test. I don't really know what that shows. I guess basically in summary, the Humbrol Maskol appears to work better than the Mr. Hobby solution, and it comes off better, and it doesn't leave, more importantly, it doesn't leave these little bleached spots wherever it touches. Now whether that's just a mix-up with the AK paint I used, which was this AK Air Series, whether it's just reacted with that. No, sorry, the AK Air Series, it wasn't on. This is Tamiya, and that one is XF22, I believe. It's that's XF22 thinned with UMP airbrush thinner. So I don't know why that has reacted with that. Only slightly. I don't. It may not do it with others. That might be worth testing another day. But for now, those are the results. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learnt something. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.